The chapter talks about the Ark of the Covenant, bringing us many technical details, measurements, details, somebody would say, oh, wow, that's one of the chapters I would like to skip when reading chapter to chapter, similar to genealogy. Actually, there are some very important points that I would like us to take this morning from the chapter. Because the Ark of the Covenant was at the central point in the sanctuary, central point in its meaning, and the sanctuary is an important point in the SDA theology. So the size, as we convert it to measurement which is closer to us today, is in length just over a meter, 1.11 meter. And the width and the height is the same, 0.67 meters. Acacia wood and gold as metal. What are the qualities? Acacia wood stands for durability, and gold stands for quality as metal. At the same time, both were available in the desert where they were currently. Why? Because acacia is probably pretty much the only wood that you can find in the desert. At the same time, as we said already, it's very durable, so it's good for purpose. Gold was also available. How was gold available in the wilderness? You can remind me, but it's obviously because they took as much as they could when they were exiting Egypt. So for us to take home is probably, when giving for God, make it best possible, but also use what is available. Don't complicate. 3 points that I would like to take about the Ark itself. Ark was a box containing actually three points that I would like to take out this morning. The testimony, as it's called, we know what the testimony is: tablets of the 10 commandments, or God's law. They are in the center of the Mosaic covenant. But important to also to say is that they are not the covenant themselves, as some of our evangelical brothers and sisters would readily point out to us, saying that the 10 commandments, God's law as we call it, is obsolete, as Apostle Paul calls it obsolete when talking about the old covenant. He indeed does say that the old covenant is obsolete, but the old covenant is not the 10 commandments, or the 10 commandments are not the covenant, the old covenant. They are at the central point of the old covenant, but they are not the covenant. Instead, the same Apostle Paul in Hebrews 10, he underlines and talks about the new covenant that God will make with his people. And he says, I will make a new covenant with them and put my law into their hearts and minds. So in the new covenant that God will make, there is place for God's law again. It's just put in their hearts and minds. In other words, the law is still in the central place of the covenant, of the new covenant, but the attitude has changed. So the testimony of the 10 commandments, God's law, is in the Ark, and it has a central place in the sanctuary. It's very important. The next item that I would like to bring to you is the cover, also called here mercy seat. So the cover, or the lid, we may also call it, of the box. I'm trying to put things straight and simple. Mercy seat, made of pure gold, which is highest possible quality, isn't it? Valuable as well. Original Hebrew meaning for the words mercy seat, actually cover here, is to cover or to pardon. So the name cover or lid in Hebrew originally is to cover or pardon. But as we know, as people have known throughout the century reading these words, what covers the sin is mercy. And that's how the word translates into today's our mercy seat. It is not coincidence, I think, that mercy covers the law. So the mercy seat covers the law. It comes on top of where the law is. Because law, in fact, accuses us of sin, and mercy covers the sin. So the two work together. But it's important that God's salvation answers the requirement of the law at the same time, and not just covers the sin, not just hides it away. So God's mercy is not there to cover up the sin. The requirement of the law still has to be answered, and then everything is covered by the mercy. And that's what Jesus exactly does. Jesus' sacrifice, his sinless sacrifice, does the both, answer to the just requirement of the law, and brings mercy of pardoning at the same time. So the ark and mercy seat make one complete unit at the central point of the sanctuary. Both are important to form completeness in its meaning. The third point that I'd like to underline is Shekinah, not mentioned here directly, but we know that God's glory manifested in forms of light on top of the cover between the two cherubs would appear from time to time. And it's very important, I believe. Once we are saved and covered with Jesus' blood, we then spend time with God and absorb the light of his glory. Remember how Moses, when he went to spend time on the mountain with God, he comes back to the people and his face shines. I believe that whoever spends time with God after being pardoned of sin and covered with God's mercy, if we spend time daily with God, our face would reflect some of God's glory, the Shekinah. And that's how the people around us will see that we are with God.